Right, apparently we're live. Tell you what, let me just open up this, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn down the sounds. I don't hear anything.
Yeah, you're live. I can
Yeah,
see us.
fantastic. Right,
Hello, all.
I'm just going to jump in so I can actually see the comments. Just bear with me. I'm on the MacBook at the moment. Just bear with me.
Ah,
I don't know whether the wind's got anything to do with this. Probably not. Right, enter studio.
that's the first time I've seen your watch. It looks nice.
Oh, yeah. It's woefully underused, though. I am gonna start running back. Oh, there's Colin there. I can see comments. Right, fantastic. Right, welcome, folks. Hang on, I'm going to turn this bloody thing off. Sorry about being 37 minutes late, but it's all Dell's fault, and
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
I'm going to tell you why. I messaged you an hour ago and I says,
Yeah, he did.
yep, and you were sleeping, which is fine. I kind of gathered that.
Yeah.
Then so I was all ready. I'd started up OBS, and I was all ready to jump into OBS. And then I goes, you want to join me? And you went, yeah. And I'm like, oh fuck, I can't get you to join me in OBS. So that's why people would have probably seen the Friday Waffle like pending, and then it disappeared. So I then started up StreamYard in my computer, but for some reason it said your camera can't be used because it's getting used by another application. Now, if you go to Task Manager, there's nothing using it. There's nothing using it. Now, I could have restarted my computer, but because of my PC problems, I had to download Exodus, which is 637 gig, and it's been uncompacting for the last 2 hours. And I thought, I'm not switching my computer off because it's going to fuck that up. So I then went on to my uh, laptop thing, brought up StreamYard, and for some reason the set of headphones, I don't even bloody see me, it's that dark. These things here, it came up, oh, it's been disconnected. Oh, it kept disconnecting. So I've got another pair which he gave me, and I put that in, and then it kept coming, oh, it's disconnected. I'm like, for fuck's sake. Then I went on so I then put on my MacBook, and I got it all ready, and it's like, send Dell the link. And it's like Messenger, and it's like you have to install Facebook. I'm like, oh, for fuck. See, and then, not finished yet. When I did eventually install Messenger, I'm like, how do I paste a link on a MacBook? It's not Control V. I'm like, fucking hell. So then I had to put my computer back on to then join the stream, which is why you saw me twice, because I'd effectively joined from this and the other one to then paste it to come across. So it's all your fault.
Could have used Discord.
How do you install that? I don't know the URL to Discord. You're the Discord king. You're the guy that anytime I need a link to Discord, Dale, can you put a link to Discord, mate? I've no idea.
Just open Discord, open the chat, and
For
go. Here's
crying
the
out
link.
loud. So it's all Dell's fault. Apologies, folks. I was on time, but
I will take that. Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
I've caused all the wind that's going on at the moment because I've been suffering from wind all week.
Well, I've got a list of things to talk about.
Yes.
Yeah, the weather. Let's start off with that. The weather. Yeah, in Scotland today, it's been. It's funny because anytime you get heavy rain, you go, "Oh my God, I've never seen a heavy rain like it." You probably have, but you forget. And so when you say it's the worst ever, it probably isn't. But I can categorically say that's probably been the worst wind that I've ever seen. About lunchtime, I mean, it was forecast, to be fair. About lunchtime. Yeah, about lunchtime. I looked out my window and my garden gate had blown open, even though it's locked shut. So I went outside. I'm like, oh. Have you ever, you know that, the second level Ghouls and Ghosts?
Yeah.
When he's running into that wind. That's what I was like trying to get to my garden gate. running in slow motion. Got to the gate, then the fence started going, and I thought this is going to fucking come down to me. So I was like, with one hand trying to keep the fence up, trying to undo a padlock that's got a 4-digit code in it with one hand, and it was freezing. Try to do that. I thought this fence is going to come down, so I ran next door, said to my neighbour, I says, Gregor, look, can you give me a hand? My fence is going to come down. So he came round, and I was like trying to hold. I mean, the fence was literally, if you imagine the northwest, that kind of angle.
Yeah.
My fence was blowing. It was going to go. He managed to. He found 4 or 5 bits of wood, so we did a bit of bracing.
Yeah.
So that was that. Then about half an hour later, my neighbour who is adjacent to me joined on to my left. His back fence went. It's gone. Well, it's not gone. It's lying outside, and he's got they've got a couple of kids, so all their stuff was blown over. Then the fence between me and him was at I don't know what degrees it would be. I don't know, 350 degrees, whatever it was, northwest. I thought this is good. This is going to go. It was even worse. So what I did was, and I'm glad that I did my martial arts, and it's because I had my white belt, my yellow belt, my red belt, my blue belt, all in a drawer. So I tied them to. Have you seen that? Have you seen
bless you, yeah.
Have you seen the Laurel and Hardy when they're trying to get when he was that the one in the hospital where they tie bed sheets together?
Yeah.
Anyway, that was like me. I tied all my Cooksoul belts together, and I put it around his fence or his fence and my fence, and I pulled it, and I was going to try and tie it to my decking, but there was no bit to tie it through. So what I ended up doing was fucking screwing the belts onto my decking. And fair play,
right.
It seems to have. It seems to have died down quite a bit. I think it's
you just need to get through this storm. Yeah, that's all it is. Yeah.
So I've managed. I've managed to hopefully save my 2 fences. But the first thing I'm going to have to do is get 2 new fences once that dies down. But anyway,
are you sure it's the panels and not the stakes that you need?
Oh, it's the stakes. And you know what? My neighbour said to me, he says, if you hadn't put the double slats for privacy, you wouldn't have had this problem because when you've only got single slats, the wind can blow through it. It's like a sieve. Yeah, a sieve isn't going to get blown in the wind, whereas if you've got something that's solid. So yeah, it's been quite a day. Holy shit!
Anybody that saw me about 6 or 7 weeks ago, I put a photo up and said, "Look, my fence has just blown over." And
did yours actually come down? Yeah.
There and it was leaning against the tree that I've got outside our window. The tree had actually stopped it from totally falling over. I had to wait 2 days before my uncle turned up, and he brought some coach bolts and some stakes, and of course he brought some cement. So of course he cemented the stakes in and coach bolted the bolts into the stakes, and it was just a matter of salvaging the panels. That was it.
Yeah.
Perfectly okay. Otherwise, thousands of pounds it costs for fences these days.
Aye. It's funny because
I'll tell you what, they're going to be mad busy for the next week. If you ever want to make money quick, start putting an advert out saying available to do fence damage. yeah, and I live in Scotland. That'll be it.
But yeah, I mean, we have inclement weather pretty regular up here in Scotland, and it's never really bothered me until today. And I'm like, okay, hell, my fence is going to go in.
I had to put 2 spare fence posts that we had at the back of the garden at a 45-degree angle under one of the slats, because if you know what a fence is like, it's as thin as anything, but it's got these frames. So I had to stick it under that and then push it into the ground and then dig a little bit into the ground so it went into a well, and then sort of just push it to the right place like this, and then make sure that angle was what you were suffering is the wind changed, didn't it? And it looked like it was going to go the other way.
Well, that's what I did. I put all if you imagine my fence and it's got these bits of brace in it, it's sort of like 45 degrees to try and kind of hold it from coming over. About a couple of hours ago, I noticed the stake where it was wedged into the ground, they were getting lifted up, so the wind had obviously spun around and was blowing
yeah.
Away. I'm like, fucking hell. But as Colin says, and on the plus side, I do now have 2 trampolines and 4 deck chairs. If anybody wants to buy them,
That's all right.
yeah, that's
Let's hope a new car sort of like magically lands or something.
Whilst I'm on, yeah, PC was apologies about the lack of any videos this week. I was well, obviously I was on holiday last week, and then I was down in that there Swindon Tuesday, Wednesday, and then on the Monday night, yeah, so I couldn't do anything. But on the Monday night, I was what was I trying to do? Yeah, I was. Oh God, I seem to stumble from one calamity to the next. I was trying to put some ROMs on an SD card on one of my little amber neck things, and it was formatted as fat, as the X fat. And I thought that's fine.
X fat, yeah.
Put them all on, put it in. It's like nothing found. I'm like, oh fucking hell! So I'll just format it to fat 32. I've managed to, using Windows 11 or 10, I've managed to use it as an SD formatter thing. I've managed to get that to format as fat 32, but for the life of me, I tried a couple. I think there was a couple of people gave me links to things, and they refused to format to fat 32. There's one that did do fat 32, but it reduced the capacity from 128 to 32, whereas I've successfully formatted a 128 gig card to fat 32. So I don't know what was going on.
Yeah, X fat will go beyond 4 gig. It's because fat 32 was around when Windows 95 was around, and it didn't recognize drives over a certain size.
Yeah, but I have got SD cards that are like 128 gig that are fat 32.
Oh.
I think I have. I'm sure I have.
Uh,
is that physically impossible?
Well, it's just that XFAT is usually the one that people use because it's a bastardized version of the FAT32 format, which is recognized by older Windows systems and gives you a larger capacity.
It is possible that maybe you've got to. I just what I did was I took out the little thing, console thing, whatever it was. I took out the card that came with it, and it's got like the operating system on it, and it had a list of folders, you know, SNES, blah 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 blah, all that, like a kind of Mister type thing. So I replicated the folders on this blank card, and I put all my games on, and then when I put it in, it wasn't working. It's possible that maybe you've maybe got to fuck about with it. Anyway, I digress. So, and when I was in the middle of trying to get all that done, suddenly, it was all Colin's fault. Colin put a link up saying, "Oh, you can now play Atari Jaguar games in the Mister." And I thought, excellent.
Yeah, I saw that link. Yeah.
So I downloaded the core, put it on, and I thought, great. Now I need to just find some ROMs. So I went to I've got I did have a 10 terabyte or 12 terabyte, but the bastards take 2 off you. I've got a 10 terabyte drive that's got all my ROMs and all my retro kind of stuff. Went into my PC, is like, where's the fucking drive gone? It's gone. Now, I have had problems in the past. I mean, it's a brand new computer I've got where the drive would disappear, and I thought it was down to the fact that the what do you call it, the data cable that comes with a SATA, the one that they came with, are just push on, whereas you get ones that have got little metal clips that can hold
click,
it.
yeah.
So that was fine. It's fixed it. So I thought, all right, okay. So I took the back off the computer, swapped it around. Both 10 terabyte drives vanished. I'm like, what is going on? Fucked about. I got one of the other 10 terabyte has got all my films and programs on it. That appeared, and the retro one was away. And I'm like, fucked about with that again. The second one vanished. I'm like, for fuck's sake. So I fucked about with like 3 or 4 different SATA cables and all that kind of bollocks. Eventually, none of the 2 would work. And the retro gaming one now, if you plug it in, it goes. You see it going click, 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 click.
Yeah,
so it's obviously completely fucked.
That's the spindle. Yeah, that's the
spindle.
So
what I managed, I can't be arsed going to get it. It's over there. What I managed to do was I remember buying a USB drive. I think it was a 2 terabyte drive. It's quite an old one. I thought, did I fling that out? Anyway, I found it. So I opened it up, and lo and behold, it's just a regular SATA drive. But more importantly, there was a little docking thing. So I plugged the two 12 terabyte drives into it, plugged it into the PC, and neither of them work. So
Yeah.
totally screwed. So anyway, I managed to, because before I this is a boring and fucking waffle, isn't it? Listen to me just whinge about my PC. Anyway, before I'd got the 12 terabyte drives, I had about 4 USB drives. That's what I use for my storage. So I've
Yes.
managed to dig all them out. And fortunately, other than a few things like that Exodus thing that I had lost because of that had never been backed up, obviously, I've now got that. Everything's working fine. But I do want to buy another drive of some sort as a kind of backup thing. But anyway, that's my PC woes. However, it does end on a good note. I was all ready to just horse the two 12 terabyte drives into the bucket. I thought, pointless keeping, I'll just smash them up. And I had a look in Amazon. I thought, I only got them in bloody June last year. Um, Now, when I mentioned, and I'm going to name and shame, but my mate Neil, I don't know if he's watching tonight. Neil has actually joined Discord, Stealth Banana, so we can call him out. He suggested that I said, like, I'm looking for two big fuck off drives, but they cost a fortune. And he says, well, actually, he says, here's two on Amazon. They're 70 quid. They're refurbished, 70 quid. You know, what would that be? 140 quid for like 24 terabytes. I thought, I'll have some of that. So I
Yeah.
bought
Yeah.
them. I bought them, and of course, lo and behold, they've now stopped working. And when I put a comment in Discord, people are like, "You never, ever, ever buy a second-hand disk drive." He says you can't refurbish them.
No.
You can't. I was talking to Holly actually a couple of hours ago. I was talking to her on the phone, and I was telling her, and she said that, and you may be able to either verify this or whatever it is. She says that, well, she says for starters, there a disk drive that does not, every disk drive, doesn't matter how good it is, has only got a finite life. Says they
Yeah.
will all fail. It's impossible for them not to fail.
Neil actually did a thing on that. He actually turned around and said that somebody told me it was 5 years, and I've had ones go for 12, and actually it balances out. But that, yeah, she's right. But carry on.
Yeah, but and what she said as well is, I says, why would they both go within about half an hour of themselves? She says because just the way they're manufactured, you can sometimes find that they can go right at the same time. If the fact that they were probably bought at the same time, there was the same make, same model, they would be exactly the same years old, whatever it is. And
Well,
says that can
I call that the unlucky thing, because think about it for a moment. She's quite right. They come from the same batch. So when you
yeah
order it from the same one, and he's bought a pallet of them, or she's bought a pallet of them, there'll probably be sequential numbers, because you've bought, they've come off the production line like that. But I was thinking, when you originally told me about the problem, that not only have you got a SATA cable that goes into the the SATA port of your motherboard,
yeah
you also have a power cable that goes from
yeah.
your,
It's a little extender
right.
cable. Yeah.
And of course, and these cables can sort of daisy chain. They've come along with about 2 or 3 power connectors. And I just wondered if you were unfortunate that you had a power cable that had 2 ports on it. You connected them both together because they're very close together, and you'd put it like that. And you had a spike internal from the power supply, and it basically went both like that. God, and
Don't
that's
know.
why it happened. And the one that's working is the one that was furthest away from the first one. So the first one would have got the spike, and the second one is the residual one.
Yeah, well, neither of them works now.
Yeah. So the other one would have gone as well. But what I'm saying is that maybe that's why the other one took a little bit
Yeah,
longer, because
possibly,
the first one took the brunt. Right.
possibly.
But when a hard drive has got what they call a board right at the end of the hard drive itself, and that's where it's got all the capacitors and everything, that basically tell it that it's connected to it and it powers the drive. Do you see what I mean? And I've seen many people repair them where they say, look, it's this one chip, it's this same manufacturer, I've repaired 50 of these, it's always this same chip that goes, and they literally in about 5 minutes get a heat gun out and go like that, and they put a chip on and it works, and it's called the hard drive controller.
Right.
And I'm going, well, there you go. So what can you trust? I mean, this was a Samsung drive he was talking about. And you're going, well, that's a brand. Bloody hell. So you can't even really go by brands. Holly's done you well there. She's told you a few things without going too technical, really.
Hey, talk of the devil. Hey, Holly, I'm glad you got home. She was on her way back from the cave. She had a 3-hour drive in front. She's just got in. We're just talking about you, Holly, talking about my hard disk things. Apparently, I've got a red nose, it says. Me and Meister's got a red nose. Have you been in the booze? I think it's just a shit light. I don't really drink, so no, it's not actually red. It's probably just the crap light.
Yeah, it's the shade.
That makes me look far more handsome anyway. So yeah, that was that. Anyway, I was on the up talking about something positive. So I was all ready to ditch them, and I thought, I went into the order of Amazon, and it's like there's no return button. So I thought, tell you what, I'll see if there's a live chat. So I just put in Amazon live chat. Oh, live chat. Boom. How can I help you? I says, hey, I bought 2 drives 6 months ago. Neither of them work. Oh, that's fine, sir. Give me a few minutes. It's like, how, do you want a refund to your card or your Amazon voucher? I said, oh, my card, please. I've just sent you a returns package. Once we get it back, you'll get your full refund. And I'm like, oh, how much will I get? £174. There you go. So, I mean, and
they are very good. The one thing they won't do is allow you to buy another drive with that cash. And now they certainly won't sell it from the same manufacturer.
Yeah.
If it was a Samsung, so if you were saying, right, I'd like another drive, please, they'll go, I'm sorry, but we don't do that. Once you're refunded, you can come back on and you can choose another drive, but you won't be able to buy it right now. But so sometimes you can be out of pocket because if you need something really quick, you have to buy it with your card before it's refunded. It'll take 5 or so days.
I mean, I shouldn't be. Well, I am delighted because, to be honest with you, I thought, oh, it's refurbished. No, but then it did say further down when in the order it says that there is a voluntary warranty that like sellers can offer, whatever it was. But yeah, absolutely no fucking about. So I mean, all right, it's a pain in the arse that they've failed, but there's 174 quid that can go towards something else anyway. So
yeah,
wait, I was going to throw them in the bucket. I was literally just thought, what? There's no point in keeping them. But yeah, so that's
and many people have advised you, because I did watch the comments just literally, was they were all talking about NAS enclosures and NAS drives and all of this sort of stuff.
Well, that's what Holly was talking about. She's going to send me a link to something. Yeah,
I mean, I use a Synology drive, and they are good. The most important files that I never want to go to my NAS enclosure. Things that I don't give a shit about, I've got on multiple smaller drives. I don't trust large drives. You should be able to, but I've just never felt comfortable above 5 terabytes, and I don't know why. They're all made exactly the same way. There's nothing really to fear.
So really, in other words, a 1 terabyte drive is no more reliable than, say, a 32 gig terabyte.
No, it's
drive.
not. It's not. It's done exactly the same way. So what I was trying to get at was, the reason I put all my important stuff on the Synology is when you plug 2 drives in it will only work with minimum of 2 drives. Is it offers you do you want to have these 2 drives as 2 independent drives, or do you want Synology to recognize that you've put files across to your first drive, and it will back it up instantly to the other drive at the same time? So when you copy it across, it goes, oh, new file, bang, straight across to the other one. If one drive fails, you got everything cloned to the other drive, and it's what they call a RAID setup. Synology set it up though in a slightly different way. It's their own RAID system, so it's got an intelligent chip in there that basically does it. But that you can, because you can have what they call stripe drives, you can have RAID drives. There's RAID 5, there's all different things. Bewilder everybody. I'm not going to bother it, but that's what I recommend that you do. because these Synology drives and NAS enclosures and all of that sort of stuff come with hot swappable drives. You could just buy, and the best drives for these are server drives that are colored blue and green and red. They're called NAS, they're called hard drive server, barracudas and all that. They've all got weird names, but they're more resilient. And basically, if you buy them both the same, then basically they act better and faster. And they were designed for business servers. Right. So you've got to think to yourself, the resilience on those might be quite good.
So I need to look into that anyway. But it was.
All I'm getting to you as is that I do get 10 terabytes. There should be no problem with it. But what I'm talking about is, look, we've all lost stuff that, damn, no, that really had some important crap on it. I literally do now think, do I want that? Will I be in a shit situation if that file goes? And if I ever think about it, I go, I'll just copy it to my NAS. I know then I've got 2 copies of it. One that I've got backed up and the other one which is backing up the backup. You know what I mean?
Listen, just moving on. Ox is asking let me see if I can bring up the question. He's asking a technical question. I'll let you answer it. I'm not going to answer that one.
One of my hard drives sometimes fails to respond in Windows 10, and I have to reboot before I can use it again. Only happens about 3 times in the last few weeks. Should I be looking to replace it? Well, I would do exactly what you did, which is cables first. Could be a dodgy cable. The other thing is he might have had a Windows update. Windows update tends to love to copy over your initial motherboard drivers. You've got something what they call an Intel chipset and all of this sort of stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
And depending on how you daisy change your drives, the bus that it uses, it's called a bus. It's a channel bus for transferring the files, right? Can get totally corrupted or confused, and it basically causes the drive not to be able to communicate with what they call the bridge. So the other thing is go to your manufacturer of your motherboard and download the drivers and then reboot and see whether it's a little bit more because like I say, Windows loves to do its updates and it will overwrite them with what they call generic ones. Do you remember when NVIDIA used to say, hey, here's our new drivers, and they also have what they call WHQL drivers, right? Do you remember that word, WHQL? It was Windows quality, whatever it was, right?
Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do remember.
And those are the ones that had gone to Microsoft and they said, these are certified, right? But they were the same thing. But one was from the manufacturer itself, and the other one was Windows saying, oh, yeah, we like them. Well, sod you, Microsoft. I wanted to use the other ones weeks ago. You know what I mean? It's like that. So,
right. Question from Frank. I'll put it to you first, Craig. Question: what games did you play this week, and what up and coming game are you looking forward to buying, if any?
Am I going first again?
Yeah, I'll let you go first while I try and rack my brains and think of something.
I've been really busy at work and fallen asleep, but I have been playing a game called Astroneer, which I've got a little part series on. But I've got to that point now where, and I've said it at the beginning, and I'm sick of saying it really, survival games are great, but there comes a point where you need to just go around collecting wood or collecting gold or silver, and that's boring to the watcher.
Which
and
I hate, as you know. Yeah.
I'm just thinking to myself, you get to a point where there's a saturation point where you've got to do that because you can't build a bigger ship or something until you do so. But to the viewer, it's like, I don't want to watch that boring shit. I want you to explore. I want to find this big bubble that's been glowing in the background, but you're saying you can't get to it because you need a bigger craft. And I'm going, I could do it offline, but then that doesn't tell you the story, does it? So,
you know how much I hate Kenny games that you've
survival
got craft. Yeah. I was playing. I mean, I'm not playing it for a wee while. I did start playing what's it? Age of Empires? Is that what it's called? Or Ages of Empire? I can't remember. Ages of Empire, I think it's called.
Right.
I played it initially with the Coder, then I have played it a couple of times.
That's right. Yeah, it was Age of Empires 2 you played with the
Yeah,
Coder. Yeah.
the second one. What I've found sometimes when I play these games, I don't play them very often. Excuse me, is you become almost obsessed about getting like, oh, there's more wood there. You become obsessed with just stockpiling so much stuff to the point that you're not even playing the game. You're just constantly building up and building up and building up and building up and building up. Do you not find that?
Then some bastard comes along who hasn't been doing that and wipes you out. Yeah.
What's
what
it
they
called?
call turtling. I used to hate that, but real-time strategies were fun. I didn't mind doing that because I had everybody going around doing everything for me, and I felt, yeah, I'm the foreman. You little bastard, go over there. You little bastard, go over there. I was like this, right? But yeah, at the end of the day, the aim of the game is to be so efficient that you've got everybody collecting resources, but you're building up a separate little army that you can send off. That's what's good about those. These resource games, these crafting ones that you talk about, yeah, I totally get where you're coming from. The thing about them is that they're casual. You don't need to worry about anything. Most of the survival games, you can stop anybody attacking you because you know where they are, so you just avoid them. So if they appear at night, you just go, fuck it, I'll go to bed. I'll wake up in the morning, do it then. Because there generally isn't any time scale or limit to them. So you just basically wait until the danger's over. There can be danger and you can die. But the other thing that they do, which I think it helps people that are casual gamers, is when you die, if you go back to the place where you died, you pick up all the stuff that you lost. That ain't going to happen, is it? Right? In real life, it's like, what? What's all that about? Right? It's like that Call of Duty thing where you can see through walls and you go, what's this seeing through walls bollocks? If I was in real life, right, and I've got a machine gun and I'm going into a room and everything's all derelict and that, I'm crouching down and going, fuck, I don't know whether I should go through that door or not. You play a game now, you see the outline of them through the walls. You're going, what's that bastard shit all about? That's why I don't, some games are dumb it all down.
Yeah.
And I'd love to go back to the days where you're not led, by the nose. It's almost like you're a horse with a bloody stirrup on, and you're just led down a path. You might as well be playing on rails.
It's funny you should say that, because when you think of who was I talking to, I can't remember who was it. Dave Perry, I think it might have been, when I was doing the Nice and Nasty.
Yeah, and I listened to that.
I think he was talking about how, like, he doesn't like games like The Last of Us and all that kind of stuff. And I thought, oh, that's one of my favorite games. But it's so true. These games are so sort of gloriously padded out, and they give you, if they give you the impression that it's open world. Whereas if you were to strip back all the sort of like the extras and all the sort of, the graphics, and had it as a top down like map type thing, it would actually be very, very simple. And it's like what you said, you are actually on rails, but it gives you an impression that you're in this open world.
That's right.
But you're not.
So some of the companies do think about this, and this is what they do a good thing of. If it's a dungeon, if it's one of those ones where you're in an old village and there's a person that's sending demo gods to come after you or whatever it is, right? You'll tend to find that the world above is been generated by them, and it hasn't got an infinite way of going around everything. But when you go underground, it's what they call procedural generated. No two maps are the same, right? You go into this cave and basically, sod you, if you go out and you go back in, it's fucking changed, right? You're going, right. So sometimes they do think about that and go, do you know what? We can give this a little bit more infinite replayability because we'll do a procedural part to it. That works. But yeah, eventually all these open world ones, you get to an edge and you can't do anything else.
I'll tell you, one of the earliest games that I ever played in the Xbox 360, still I think is one of the best games ever. And it was, I would probably, it kind of, did it precede? No, it didn't precede Grand Theft Auto, because Grand Theft Auto came out on the PlayStation. No, wait a minute. Let me get this right. The Xbox 360. Aye. You had the original Xbox, and then no, wait a minute. I was the Xbox 360. It's its rival was the PS3. Yeah, so you had
Yeah,
Grand Theft Auto did come out for the PlayStation 2. Anyway, yeah,
yes,
the
it did.
game is a Crackdown, which was a Microsoft
Love
produced game.
Crackdown, Microsoft. Yeah.
Yeah, that was I might actually go back and play that
This
again.
this bloke, you seriously, you were running around within about 3 hours of playing the game, and you've killed some of these bosses and everything. You were leaping, right? I mean, I ain't joking, right? You were. It's almost like I'm on Mars now,
Yeah,
right? And so was your car that you'd got as well. Your car was. You took it into the base or whatever it was. You went out again, and suddenly it can do millions of things. That was fantastic. I loved it because I was
yeah.
jumping over all of the freeways that were there and jumping into the enclosure where all the things were, and I was just
And
going
then
"Whee!" like
you
this.
just pick up a car and throw it at a
Yeah,
zombie.
and it was almost like, yeah, I'll throw it round to Australia. Look, I'll just do that.
It was
I
great.
love that game.
The
Crackdown was
graphics,
fun.
the graphics weren't brilliant. I mean, I can't remember. They were almost like
Plain,
cell
plain is what
drawn.
I call it.
What's that?
There was no color to anything, and it was plain as anything.
Yeah. Do you remember Jet Set Radio on Dreamcast? Did it not have
Yeah.
kind of similar kind of cell shaded graphics? It was kind of
Yes, it like it had a thick outline around anything.
yeah,
Not
yeah.
quite, but it was. But you're talking
Aye.
along the same thing. I call it flat shaded, sort of like.
Aye. It was.
I just think that they spent so much time doing an intricate type world and trying to make things look a little bit different that basically they didn't worry about the texture side of things. It was just flat purples and stuff for the bodywork and all of this.
But you look beyond the graphics, and it was one of these games where you could be standing on the road and you could see like you could see a skyscraper like a mile away, and then you could just walk to it, and then you could, depending on how many the gems or whatever it is you picked up, you would kind of level up. So you could eventually like jump on top of the thing. It was brilliant. Modeling Man 1999, Crackdown was epic. Crackdown 2 sucked. Yeah, I never really. I gave Crackdown 2, and it was disappointing.
He should look at Crackdown 3 then. Jesus Christ! You want a shit fest? Look at that.
Oh, wait a minute. Is that the? I'm trying to bloody remember. I remember playing the sequel and being disappointed. But did the second one, did it have the similar kind of game mechanics? And I can't remember.
The third one got so they came back to it sort of like, oh, and after 6 or 7 years, we're going to do Crackdown 3 finally. And basically they had, I mean, take it like this: the company that was the coders that were making it disbanded and joined 3 times during the whole the whole sort of like idea to finish, if you see what I mean. By the time it came out, it might as well have been Crackdown 2, because all the ideas that were there were just flushed out. They just went, we'll get this out. It's a shit fest.
Aye, they should have left it alone. Yeah.
It's a shame, because like I say, Crackdown 1 was, I'll tell you what, Crackdown 1 was fun.
That's exactly it. It was.
I didn't give a shit. I was having a blast with it. I just went, I'm going to jump to that skyscraper. I was like,
it was. Yeah, I mean, it kind of did predate the sort of like the Grand Theft Auto that we know nowadays, the Grand Theft Auto 6, whatever it was. But yeah, you could say, right, oh, you've got to go and kill the big drug lord, and you would be making your way over there, and then you think, oh fuck it, I'm just going to climb the skyscraper. Oh, there's a fucking gem up there. I'm going to try and get it, and you would get waylaid, and you could spend hours, and you didn't actually progress any, but you leveled up, and you just had great fun. Yeah, if anybody has never played Crackdown, well, probably a lot of people don't have Xbox 360s. I'm sure. Did it ever come out for the PC at all? Do you know?
Oh, now you're asking.
You have a look.
I don't think it did. It was made by Microsoft Studios. It was
it was one of the first scary. Yeah, it was absolutely epic. It really, really was.
I don't think it did. I don't think it did. But then I'll tell you what, somebody will come along and say it didn't originally, but it got done, and then I'm gonna look stupid. So I'm going to
Well-
just air my back and say, do you know what? If it did, I didn't play it.
Well, here's a top tip. Go to CEX, so go on eBay right now. You could probably
Yeah.
buy an Xbox 360 and a copy of Crackdown for about 10 quid.
Yeah,
No, really.
really was good. Cracking
Yeah.
game.
And the second part of Frank's question, Dale, what is there a game coming out that you're looking forward to at all?
Actually, I was having a word with Steve because he started to do.
Cheers, Bob. Good night, mate.
He started to do a role-playing game episode type thing. He said, "Do you know what? I've been itching to do this, and I've gone back to the well, and I'm playing something that's about 6 years old. I don't give a shit as long as I'm having fun," which I totally get. I didn't buy this game. It's called Eden Ring. But I was looking at YouTube. You know, on my blog, I always say I've watched this channel and watched this channel and all this sort of stuff. There was something that came out this week that said forthcoming games in February. And of course, I've been looking at my VR headset and I have no idea what's coming out, you know, and all this sort of stuff, right? But the people that made Skyrim, you know, and Oblivion, what I didn't know was on the 14th of February.
Oh, Skyrim. Oh, what the hell are you talking about? Skyrim.
Yeah. Skyrim, yeah, Skyrim.
Skyrim. I'm
You know.
like, what the fuck is that? Yeah.
They've brought out their next one in the series, and it comes out February 14th, Valentine's Day.
Oh, right, okay.
And I thought to myself, do you know what? If there was ever an AAA title that I would probably go, do you know what? I might buy that. It would be that because of it's because of how long it would take you to play it. You know what I mean? I mean, they're now up to something like the 14th release of Skyrim, aren't they? It's been out on VR. It's come out on Switch. It'll be on a Casio calculator, you know, by the end of the year or something. It'll be Game of the Year edition, right? But when you hear that studio have spent a couple of years and it's coming out on that date, your ears prick up. But before I heard that game, there was another one called I think it's called King's something Deliverance. I've forgotten. King's Quest Deliverance. It's one of those ones where you fight in first person, so you got a sword in front of you and you swing it around and all this sort of stuff. But it's also got that little bit of Sim City involved in it, and there's a story going on. So you can sit back and you can be casual, or you can actually get involved with the story and do it like this, or you can. That to me is great, and they apparently keys have been given out to certain YouTube partners, and they're all turning around and saying at the moment it's got just a few issues, but I tell you what, it's banging. You could do anything you want. If you went into a village and you didn't like a horse, you could kill it, right? You could sleep with the bloody innkeeper's wife if you wanted to, right? And he would come in and beat the shit out of you or whatever. I mean, we're talking all the things that was in a Carry On Henry would be in this game. Do you know what I mean? They thought of everything. And that again makes me go, you're getting me excited. I know it's all blurb. There ain't no game that can do anything, right?
It's not Peter Molyneux, perchance, is it? No.
But the other thing I've been waiting for is Drop Zone. Don't know when it's going to come out. When you were talking about Drop Zone the other day, I went on the internet and I looked, and apparently it says it's out on the Switch now, but all the others we're waiting for, right? I can't find anything. If you go to System 3's website, it tells you that it's coming soon for certain ones, but it still gives you a link saying it's out on the Switch. News to me. I can't find it.
Yeah, I was kind of, my interest was initially peaked, whatever it was, when I saw it down in, was it Zap Live, I think it was. I've watched a couple of videos and I'm thinking,
I played it.
Is it going to be better than the original? Nah, not at all.
No, it won't be. But this is the thing. I was at Zap Live. So, it was there. You could play it. It was on a huge piss off screen like this, right? All that mattered to me was they didn't piss about with it on the way above what Archer, McLean did, right? And they hadn't. And all it was a modern graphic looking version of what Archer McLean did. It's smooth, it turns round. Even the animation reminds you of just how the 64 one turned round.
Yeah.
All the bars and everything. It's got that thing where Saturn in the background moves slower than the foreground and all of that sort of stuff. And you're going, whoa. And then when it blew up, it was the same blow up routine, but modernized. And you're going,
kind of particles.
oh, now we're talking, right?
Well,
I'm looking, instead of going back to my 64 one, which looks incredible and I like going back to, I can now plug this into my Steam. And as long as they price this right, I'm going, right, I've got an alternative version. I can look at one with a little bit more of a modern flair to it. So,
have you tried Super Drop Zone in the SNES? That's pretty good.
Yes, I have, and I didn't like it.
You know, no, I've not played it for a long time.
And there was a GBA version as well.
Oh yeah.
The thing about those ones is I don't know what it is. It didn't feel right playing on the SNES. Maybe it was the controller. Maybe it was because I'm used to playing on a sort of like joystick with one button going around like this. I don't
try it on the Mister. Play on the Mister with your arcade stick and give it a go.
Yeah, because I've got my arcade stick down there. I'm just thinking back to what was it that I didn't quite like about it.
Well,
was it because it looked a bit grainy? Was it? I don't know.
There's a video for you. I would like you, if you don't mind, to do a comparison between whether I'd probably go for the Atari 800 one, because it is, even Archer McLean admitted, it is slightly. That's the nicest one.
But we were there together playing it on. Well, you played it on his machine, didn't you?
I did. The one. Do a comparison video looking at the Atari version, the Game Boy Advance, and the SNES one, and just see how they compare. Yeah, do a video if you don't mind, mate. That would be excellent.
Yeah.
And you can you'll have them all. You'll have them all on the Mister anyway. So
and I'll make sure that I use that.
Yeah. Oh, nice. Very nice. Very nice. So yeah, that you've got that. You've got that. What was it? You've got the new Skyrim type game you're looking forward to, and also the Drop Zone one. My one. What have I been playing? I don't make a point of it, but I was Slope's Game Room. He was doing a live stream, and he doesn't do many. And I tuned in, and he was playing a game on the Switch. I can't even remember what the hell it's called. It's actually based on a biblical story, believe it or not. Can't remember what it's called. Isaac something or another. It's a weird one.
Oh, I've heard about it.
But it's almost like a Robotron style kind of controls. Up, down, left, and right, fire, but you can't fire diagonally. But it's got that kind of typical indie sort of like skate. It looks like the graphics have been drawn with kind of coloured pencils. So I managed
pixel arty,
so I managed to acquire it, and fantastic, great game. And I've got to say that the Switch, pound for pound, the Switch it might not be the most powerful. Well, it's not the most powerful, and that's the same with all Nintendo stuff. But by Christ, the Switch has got an absolute massive catalogue of really, really good games. You know, you can pick up Switches for pennies, and there are ways to, let's say, you can acquire games, and fantastic.
How much do you think those prices will drop when the Switch 2 comes out this year?
Oh, even more. But you can get them.
Get them for peanuts, can't you?
Yeah, maybe not peanuts, but you can certainly get them for. The Switch is a great machine. It's not one that I use very often. I've got a big, massive card, and I think I've got something like 120 games in it. It's phenomenal. It really, really is. So I've been playing that, and any game that I'm looking forward to coming out, I have no idea because I don't really follow modern games. Am I looking forward to Grand Theft Auto 7? Nah. Will I buy it? Yes.
That's what all of us are saying, isn't it?
I'm not gonna play it. Moving on. And you know this one. I've been I dug out, and I do that all the time. My VR headset, my the Quest 2 thing that I've got, it's phenomenal. And every now and again, I'll dig it out. I think Eva was playing with it, and I came into my games room and it was lying on the floor charging up, and I thought, I'll give it a wee go and put it on. And I'm like, oh, this is fantastic. And then, of course, I started thinking about, Dale says that the Quest is even better, and I had a look at it. It is pricey. Anyway, Ava kindly said, "Well, listen, Dad, I'll go halfers because at the end of the day, anytime I buy anything, she uses it as well. So she's very kindly split it with me. So we bought one. We got it yesterday, day before, 2 days ago. I spent the whole night using it. It is.
Brother, I don't know about you. Was the first thing that you did when you plugged it on, you went, wow, it's in color. I can see absolutely everything. And I'll tell you what, I'm looking at the monitor. I can read the monitor with
it's weird.
On, you know?
It's weird because when you put your phone up to it looks like the phone is actually in VR. It's like it's kind of weird. It's got it's got
a
that
ripple.
It's
you know that haze. You know that haze you get when you're looking at something that's really hot and it's got that sort of ripple like that. It's almost like things around the edges have got that sort of bit. You know, it's not distracting, but you do notice that it's not.
So
a fantastic camera.
Modeling Man is saying that he bought a PSVR 2 for his PS5 and sold it within 2 months. Wasting money. VR sucks. I can't comment on PSVR, but
yeah,
I'm absolutely staggered at what you can do on VR now. I mean, in the last probably few months, I mean, the wonderful thing about these headsets is you don't have to fuck about with wires. You can be sitting in the toilet, you can be in your bath if you want, headset on. And what they've even done, and I'm glad to see that, they've introduced, you can actually have, it's like lie down mode. So if you want to watch a film, you can be lying on your bed and you're staring up at the ceiling and you're watching it in the cinema. So it's great. There is so much you can do. I've got quite a decent PC which can run VR. Prior to like the update that they must have put out, you had to have a big cable plugged in and you had to fuck about with Steam, and it did take a bit of pissing about and get drivers and all that. Now you just go to whatever it is the Airlink mode. Boom. Do you want to connect to Al's PC? Boom. Yes. Steam. Boom. I was down. My PC's upstairs. I was downstairs playing Half-Life Alyx in this thing, and that was on the PS. That was on the second one. You know.
Yeah.
So anyway, like I said, I bought I got the third one, and it's just it's incredible. I mean, like I would challenge anybody to that says, oh, they don't like VR. Play Half-Life Alyx, and you would be absolutely staggered. I mean, when I was playing it last week or the other day there, I hadn't played it for a while because of the sort of fanning about and all this kind of stuff. But I put it on, and when I loaded up a save state, I almost fucking got the fright of my life. I was like, I'd killed this like zombie thing, and I was actually crouching down, staring at its face, and you're like looking in its mouth. It's like. And then I had my hand and I was kind of punching it and its arm was flopping about. And it's like, that is just so real.
Yeah.
It is mind-numbing. And anybody that's into video games, do yourself a favor. Go and get a Quest 2. You'll get one for £100. It is mind-blowing.
Yes.
Absolutely mind-blowing. And before people say, oh, I get motion sickness, I can't play any of these games that I've got motion sickness because you feel sick. But all these games now, they've got the step movement, so you can play it just for the sort of the built-in games or the games you can buy. If you pay £7 a month, you get, it's almost like the equivalent of Game Pass. You get free games and all that kind of stuff, which is great. There's
a thing in there, isn't there, Alan? It's called comfort. Right, in your actual settings and stuff, and it says there are 3 comfort levels to this. There is 1, won't get sickness. 2, for people that are prone to sometimes some type of sickness but want to have a VR experience, and then there's 3, unlocked everything, oh my god type mode. Right?
Yeah.
Well, they've got that now built into the system so that when you put in a game, it's prone to the system settings, not the game.
Oh, is it?
So basically, it will override what the game is.
I didn't know that. Is that a setting within the?
Yeah, it's in the settings. Yeah, it's called comfort.
I'll need to have a look at that. So you know some of these games. I mean, what was the game? When I bought it, I was able to download the Batman game.
Yeah, you get that for free. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how much it is, but yeah, it's pretty good. You get that for free.
Oh, it's £39.99.
Is it? Yeah. But yeah, when I had a shot of it, it was like the smooth movement. I'm like, oh, I feel nauseous. So if I had that comfort setting set to like non-nausea mode, would that have overwritten the game? And
Yeah,
it would
but it actually,
smooth?
if you did look at the beginning, it turned around and said, "What do you want? Do you want to play
It
this?"
did say that, and I didn't really fully understand what. I thought that was the difficulty, and I put it to the right hand one, which obviously enabled the smooth movement,
Oh
which is
yeah,
great.
yeah, yeah.
If you've got a strong stomach, then probably that's the way to play it. But I wasn't able to go back and undo it. I couldn't change it. I was trying to go into settings, so
Yeah.
it's actually built into the settings. You can
Yeah,
change
yeah.
it to. Right, I'll need to have a look at that. But
And the fun thing about Batman is that I've got that as well. It's amazing. I didn't know what I was doing. I was in this room for absolutely ages going, wow, look, I've read every frigging newspaper. I've been to the fridge. I haven't got a fucking clue what I'm doing, right? Went over to the window and it was saying something and I was going, look, I've moved the right mouse. I've moved my hand left. I've gone like this with my hands. Absolutely nothing. You had to go forward with two hands to go through the window, right? So that you can go, so you can sneak past and blow this bat signal or something up. Then it does that predictable thing of going into the sewers. But what I was thinking about is this does look incredible. I mean, it's a nice game.
is it?
I mean, I will say that.
My my brief kind of 2 minute look at it, I thought, oh, this doesn't blow my head off. But
No.
does it get better? Does it get better, kind of thing?
Yeah,
Yeah,
it does. Because that's what I thought. I thought, well, everything looks like. I'll tell you what it looked like. Do you remember an old PC game called Kingpin?
Oh yeah. That was
Everything looked like that. Everything was brown or black or looked like it was crayoned or something. And I was going, I don't know what people are bloody saying on this. When you actually got to the bat signal, you went, oh, it's a bit lighter now. I can sort of see a few things. That looks all right.
And the graphics pretty good for it. Yeah.
Yeah, but well, the game that you want to play is called Asgardian's Wrath 2, which was the first AAA game that came out for it when the Quest 3 came out. It changed to Batman when they dropped the price, and that's the game that you get now when you buy it. But Asgardian's Wrath 2, oh my god, that looks stunning. Absolutely. I mean, from the get-go, that looks bloody marvelous.
Oh, this
the game I'm playing at the moment, just so you know, this is the type of games that I like to play because I just like to pick it up. I'm playing a game called Maestro. I'm a conductor, right, in an orchestra, right? I don't even need the controllers because it uses hand tracking, right? I picked up a knitting needle and it turned it into a baton, right? In VR, right? I had a knitting needle. I could turn it. I could put this pen up like this in front of my face and it'd be a baton, right? And it says, "You're going to conduct it now," right? And it says, "Tap your baton on the thing." And I went, and you can hear it tap. And I go, right? And then I had to sort of like do the swishy movements like this with the arrows and stuff. But on the left-hand side, there's a choir, and it says, "Hold your hand up," and you go like this, and they go louder and louder and louder. And then when you want them to stop, you go like this. And I'm doing this with my right hand. And I'll tell you what, I was, air on a bloody G string, classical music coming at me, and I was bark. You know what I mean? I was like bloody hell, conducting this thing. And it's marvelous. You turn, then when you get to the end, what I didn't know was it says, "Now turn round." Everybody in the aisles was watching me play conduct this band, right? I'm going, what? I didn't even know there was anybody watching behind me, watching me cock up like this.
2 seconds, mate. I just need to plug this into before it runs out of battery. Hang on.
That's all right. All I was going to say was it's a marvelous game, and the nice thing about it is there's a demo. You can download the demo to see if you like it first.
I don't suppose it's on that that VR. It's not on the Game Pass thing, though.
No, it's $19.99, but it has a demo.
Right.
If you don't know whether you're going to like it, just download the demo, play it, and go, well, the rest is like that.
Yeah. But again, the thing that's it's not just about the games. I mean, the games are incredible, and you mentioned it to me yesterday, and I installed it. If you have Game Pass, which is I think it's 12.99 a month, and it's great. Game Pass gives you a shitload of games for your Xbox. It gives you the games for
Yeah,
the
yeah,
PC.
Xbox Pass, yeah.
Download the Xbox app on your headset, and you can be downstairs in your living room, on the toilet, and well, not in the car, obviously, 'cause you can't have Wi-Fi. You don't even need a bloody PC. You can play all your Game Pass games on your headset on a 30-foot screen.
Yeah,
I was sitting downstairs, and because you've got the option to have pass through, I was sitting in a chair and I could see my living room and the dogs and all that bollocks. But I had this absolutely gigantic screen, and I'm sitting playing Flight Simulator. Bear in mind, you're playing the PC version. You're not playing a sort of dumbed
yeah,
down
yeah.
Xbox version. It's phenomenal, absolutely
But
phenomenal.
the nice thing about it is like you were talking about, um, you can alter the screen to the way that you want it. You can have a curved screen if you want. You
It's
know, you can
yeah,
do whatever you want. You can have it like this. You can have it projected against a wall. You could have it just as like it's a TV in front of you with an enclosure and all this sort of stuff. You can be playing it like this. Um, I agree that somebody's put there. They turned around and said, "Game Pass, no, I own games, not rent them." I understand that. Um, but the thing about it is that um, I do like the idea that you get free games and they're yours. You know what I mean? This isn't a you're renting them. You know what I mean? You have to go in each month and you go, I want those, and it adds it to your library. And then when you get to the next one, it adds to your library.
yeah. See, I'm Christ Almighty, as you know, I'm old school. You know, I like to have tangible games. If I want to play Super Mario Kart or Drop Zone, well, I've got the ROMs, but that's the pointless. But for me, I don't. There's very few modern games that I think I would want to go back to once you've completed it, once you've had a bit
Yeah,
of
yeah, yeah,
fun.
yeah, yeah.
I'm it, renting games suits me perfectly because I don't. I've not got the patience. I've probably not got the time to sit and complete games. So paying £7.99 a month and just having maybe 50, 60 games to pick from. Like, for example, I mean, and they don't, they're not only there for a week, they can be there for 6 months. I mean, there's not been a game yet. Like Power Wash Simulator, I've been banging on about that game for a month, probably over a
Yeah.
year. It's
Mm.
still there. It's still there. So it's yeah. Well, Frank's saying they're not free games because you can no longer play them if you stop subscribing. It doesn't work for everybody. I don't. If I play I don't know some VR game.
Yeah, but
Um,
I just want to correct
yeah,
Frank a little bit there because he's quite right. You're subscribing and then they're
absolutely.
no
Yeah,
longer there. But while you're a subscriber, it does give you the option of you can have this at a cheaper price. Now, the longer you've been subscribing and the longer that this game has been out, you'll get to a point where you can pick that up for 50 pence because you're a subscriber, and then it's permanently yours. It's not part of the subscription thing anymore. So all I'm saying is that's true to a point. There
well,
are,
well, for example, last night when I was playing on the huge big screen, I thought, you know what, absolutely, I hate it. I'm going to give FIFA a go. I was playing it for half an hour, and that game, if I was to not subscribe and go and buy it, I would have to have spent what 50 quid.
yeah.
Whereas I can just play it. So
It,
yeah, if
it
you're,
it
I
gives you
get
the
it.
flexibility, gives you the flexibility options to try stuff that you'd go, do you know what? I'm going to go out of my comfort zone. I'm going to try this. And if you don't like it, you go, fuck, who cares?
See,
Um,
if you're the, it depends what type of player you are. If you're somebody who like gets a game and you play it and play it and play it and complete it and then you move on, it's the way to go because I mean, I don't know how many games you get on Game Pass. You get probably about 50 or if not more. You get
yeah.
all the big games. I mean, what was that? What was that one Starfield or something that came out. That was the big game that came out last
Yeah,
year.
from day one, it was part of
Yeah,
Game Pass.
and it's still there. So I mean, I could have been playing that for a year, and if I had bought that game, I would have got fed up of it, and I would have left it, and be like, "There's fucking 40 quid. I'm never going to get back again." So yeah, I totally. It's not for everybody. It works for me. Paying that, what I deem quite a small amount of money every month, I've got the access to all these games. Whereas if you're going to buy them, 50 quid a year, £45 a year, 30 quid a year, it's a lot of money. I'm not fussed on having a tangible game. Not this kind of, not modern generations. I don't care about not owning a game. Yeah, back in the day, like your Super Nintendos and all that kind of stuff, cartridges. I get that, but it doesn't. It's maybe not for everybody.
Tell me something. Have you and Ava been on at the same time?
No, we've not tried it yet. I know we could, because obviously we've got evening Steve, evening Russ. No, we haven't. We need to give it a go, actually.
The one thing that I just want to mention is the reason that I bought it is that anybody really that knows me knows that as much as I love games and I love nostalgia and everything, I'm a film collector. And as technology has moved forward and we don't do 3D anymore, and we've got 4K and we're moving into 8K and all of this sort of stuff, that's fine. Don't mind all of that. I know that I can watch all my 3D movies with these with this VR on, right? And it's not going to be shaded and dark because you've got a pair of sunglasses on, which is what happens when you went into the cinema because you had to go through polarized lenses. We're talking about the 3D looks 3D and you don't have the shades on. So the light is better, right? So you're watching it really, and I'll tell you what, it really does look good because you can change the environment. You could be in a room, or you could be in a theater, or you could be bloody in outer space if you want. The 3D works because it looks like it's coming out from the seats. Do you see what I mean? If you're in a theater. So if you want that type of effect, it's there. And I tell you what, the 3Ds looks stunning. Certain films just you just go, why couldn't it have been like that when I went to the cinema with them stupid sunglasses?
Is there any one you recommend that I have a look for?
Off the top of my head, I think Tenet was in 3D. I think that was quite
Tenet.
Good. Yeah, the Christopher Nolan. Was one this... where everything is in reverse and all that sort of stuff.
So I'm going to stop you there. Me and my mate went to see that. It was during lockdown, and like there was nothing coming out, and it's a new film. Let's go and see it. We were both on the verge of walking out. I thought it was a awful film.
But this is the thing.
I hated
the thing. What it's talking about is that you're reenacting. It's like Groundhog Day, but with action sequences.
Yeah.
Right? Because he's breaking into something like an Air Force base or something, and the weird thing is that he knew when to dodge and all of this sort of stuff when he'd never been there before. But that's because he had been there before, but he hadn't actually got to the point where that had happened. And you're going, now my head's blown. I have no fucking idea what's going on. So you sort of have to watch it. But you asked for what film looks good as 3D.
And
I'm not saying the film's good, right? There's a lot of stuff. Like I tell you what, I recommend cartoons as 3D.
I've got like Toy Story 3 and that kind of stuff.
I'm not going to turn around and say to you, watch Spider-Man, watch the Avengers Endgame, all of this sort of stuff. I'd have to think back at my collection, and I've got over 150 3D films. What did I think was really, really good? And I go, oh yeah, you gotta watch that. I'll give you a list when we're finished, but I can't think right now and go.
We can take that one off camera. But I mean, this is another thing we've not really touched on. Is I've got a lot of films on my computer, and I can watch them all on the VR headset.
Yeah.
And other than you're conscious of having something on your face, and if you look down, you can see sort of like you are conscious of having something sort of touching your face. But and again, it's fantastic on the Quest 2, but the Quest 3 it's a lot sharper, and I would say it's like 1080p, it's like HD.
Yeah.
and you can choose to sit either at the back, the middle, or the front. And I tend to jump back and forwards. I was sitting at the front, and I was like that, and you're looking up, and it's like it's just. I mean, it's so sharp. So it's like having because I was telling my mate about it, and he went, "Oh, I've got my projector." And I think, no, sorry, all right, having a projector's nice. You can sit with your mates, and you can have a beer, and you've not got this thing in your face. But I'm sitting in a multiplex cinema on my own, and I can fuck about with the lighting and all this kind of stuff. And I've got a decent pair of Bluetooth headphones. It's like, wow.
Yeah.
It's there's and that's the thing about VR. People think, oh, it's VR games, I get motion sickness. It does so many other
It's
things.
also it's also the future, I think, of YouTube watch-alongs. If you've ever seen a community of people do silly things, watch-alongs is one of them, right? Because it's like you got 3 people that are all on StreamYard like we are, and they're all looking at their own TVs, and they've gone, right, we're going to go 3, 2, 1, start, right? And all of you, everybody, right, can do exactly the same thing. And you're watching these people and watching the film, and you're watching their reactions. So when Freddy comes out and kills someone, you can go, and then they say something funny, and you go, right. In a watch along, you can have them all in the same room. You only have to look to your head to the left and see what they're saying. You know what I mean?
There's an app. There's an app.
Watch-along.
I'm going to get off the subject of VR in a minute because I know it's not for everybody. There is an app where you can have up to 15 people, and you can have your own private screen. So Craig and I are going to get together at some point and pick a film. It's not going to be 10
picture, isn't it? Big picture,
we'll need to give that a go. Steve's saying there, do you think that we're on commission to sell VR units? You know me by now, Steve. If I get something that I think is amazing, I'm all over it, and I want to tell people how good something is.
I say sod, Alan. I've got 100 quid just by mentioning all of this, so I've got it all coming to me in the next couple of minutes. We've got £100 coming because I've been mentioning VR. Of course, I'm not on commission. It's just like Alan. I just like talking about.
Talking of which, we've got the elephant in the room. Well, it's not an elephant in the room. I mentioned a couple of weeks ago that I wanted to up my adverts on my videos. I wanted to see how it was going to work. And right now I can't see any much a difference at all. I did have one person saying, yeah, on that live stream I had 3 adverts in 12 minutes. Hopefully this one has not been monetized, because I don't want that. I don't want to have live streams with adverts in between, because that's just a pain in the arse. I think all my regular kind of viewers, whatever it is, they're all going to use their ad blocks and all that kind of bollocks. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, from like kind of going forwards, any future live streams, I'm going to ensure that I don't have any adverts turned on, because I don't want that. That'd be a complete pain in the arse. Yeah, right. I don't know how before it disappears off the thing. Dale, where is it? Steve, I'll let you look at that one when I. There we go.
Well, I've actually just been talking about Astroneer, saying, do you know what? I think it's past its course, to be quite honest. I'll probably do a couple more. Yes, I do need to start that back up. It will be happening. Whether I'm going to choose you bastard, to choose, I know what you're like with bloody games. You just throw everything but the kitchen sink at me, where I die every 15 seconds. I don't know whether I'd have you as a friend anymore doing that. And I'd say it goes for bloody Alan. And oh, you see the games they were throwing at me, bloody hell, bastards. No, I loved it when they sent me a hard game. I loved it when they sent me another game. I had great fun doing it. I'm back at work. That was the thing. And that's why I did that thing, end of the year show type thing. And I said, you know what? I'll go back and I'll play one more of the games that they presented to me. And I did that as a one-off. And then I said, do you know what? I'm itching to do season 2. So season 2's coming. I need to ask, though. I need to ask people, do you want to continue sending me a game every couple of weeks? Because, you know, obviously it'll be a bit slower this time. It won't be, I'll be doing 5 videos a bloody week, and I get to the same friend again the following week. It'll be a couple of weeks. They might turn around and go, no, I ain't got time to think of a game for you to do that. Count me out now. And therefore I need to fill a gap. And I like the idea that these people were in for the long stream. You know, I chose 7 friends, and every time I went back to them and said, look, you can pull out if you want, but have you got a game? Hell yeah, I've got a game for you. That's what they came back with me, and I was lucky. But you don't know whether they can last the course for the next season too. And I have to, you know, like 20th Century Gaming, I think he's on a bit of a hiatus at the moment. So I don't want to disturb him.
Yeah.
So I've got to replace him with somebody. You see?
There's old Grumpy Drawers. He ain't got time to think
Robert
about games.
was one that chose games, you know, and I don't know if I went back to him whether he'd turn around and say, do you know what? I don't think I can think of it.
Yeah,
game's like that.
Well, you can count me in. I always pick a game that I'm genuinely interested to see somebody else tackle, because I mentioned that to you before. When you see somebody else play a game, no two people play the games the same. And what was the game that I was playing? I was playing a game recently. No, it was a game that you were playing, and I thought, I didn't know you can do that.
Yeah,
I've been playing this game for like 10 years, and I didn't know you could do that.
That was Fort Apocalypse, wasn't it, with them lasers?
Oh yeah, that's what it was. What was that again?
Fort Apocalypse, wasn't it? With the lasers.
What was it to do with the lasers? What was it?
Well, when you hit the lasers, it transports you to somewhere else, and then you can blow the wall up, and then use the lasers to go somewhere else, and eventually it cycles around. So you can
something like that. Yeah. When I was screaming at the screen, you can land. You don't have to stay hovering all the time.
And the blue lasers kill you if they're a certain color.
That's what it was. The color of the lasers. I didn't realize that. And then in Fort Apocalypse, when you were like, oh, we're going to have to wait for 562 seconds, I'm like, shoot the box, shoot it.
Oh, Wolfenstein, yeah.
Yeah, if you shoot it, it comes down. I didn't know that. I think I found that out.
You knew that, and I'd read the instructions, and it didn't say. I don't remember reading the instructions that said that. The one thing that I got out of that game was, I learned a little bit about pausing video, which worked out really well. Right. The second thing was, oh, what a game, because it took me back to a time where I thought to myself, you know what, this is cold. If I'm going through a trunk, then basically it takes time to open the trunk, go around it, and all of this sort of stuff. It takes time to search it. The other thing is, somebody could walk in while I'm doing it. So of course, you get, if your brain can do it, you can get so immersed that you're actually there.
It's like built-in realism.
You've got to do these things that, where you think to yourself, yeah, but that'd be real life, but I'm playing a computer game. Why have I got to wait 5 minutes in this? And it seems daft, but no, think of it. Think of it as being the board game Colditz, Escape from Colditz, and you'll know what I'm talking about. It's like that.
It's epic.
Robert's come back and said he was kidding, and I'm just going, yeah, he's a bastard. No, he does. He does that all the time. No, Robert would always automatically be there. And I tell you what, he came up with some real interesting games. He came up with a game that I now play quite a lot called Oil's Well. No, what's it called?
Oil's Well.
Well, you're a little helicopter and you've got to basically blow up, get money. I've forgotten what it's. Anyway, I've just got it on favorites, so I can't remember the title of it. But he introduced me to that, and I play that a lot now.
Yeah. Right. There's so many.
Buried Bucks. That's it.
I've always said to any of my UK friends, if you had a Commodore 64 and you want a massive batch of new games to play, get yourself an Atari, because the back catalogue. I mean, Steve has got a series where he's been going through these kind of pirate discs, and it's got like 7 games in it, whatever. There was one recently that he played. I can't remember what it's called. And you've got to go around in a little boat, and there's these ducks that are walking about, and then the ducks will decide to jump into the water, and you've got to catch them. And it's got the cutest animation ever. And brilliant. I mean, there's just so many good games. You
do know that Robert and Steve are really big friends of both of ours. And I tell you what, I think it was one of them that introduced me to that game Electrician. And that came out to be a little gem, because everybody suddenly started playing that when that came out. It was like joining the little dots, and you had to get the lights and light up the room.
I'm not aware of that one.
Yeah, do you remember? You're a little bloke, and you had to light up the rooms.
No,
bit like that. And then you went underground, and you had to get to the next room, and you had a light and all this sort of stuff, a torchlight. Oh yeah, great. Yeah, I think it was called Electrician.
I'm not aware of that one. Listen,
You-
folks, we're kind of
Yeah, I'm
we're
sorry, I'm talking a bit.
no, it's all right. We're getting on. I was going to answer some questions, but you know what? I think I'll keep them till for next week because I know what will happen. I'll not get any questions on this one because we're doing a live one together. So I'll save the questions. I know you asked me one as well, Dale, which is fantastic. But yeah, honestly, there's so many. Atari has got such a massive back catalogue, and it's when games were games. Yeah, the graphics a lot of time looked absolutely dog shit. But yeah, go and get it. Don't think I've got anything else. No, I've got the weather, PC woes, Amazon customer service, Quest 3, adverts in my videos, and electrician. I'm going to go and check. Waddling Man did say that it was him. That he wasn't moaning, but he was just saying that when he watched that live stream, he says there was like 3 adverts in 12 minutes and blah. As I says, I have been asking for feedback. What do you guys think, etc. It's been positive up to that point. That's not a negative thing, but yeah, for live streams, you're not going to get any adverts. Fuck that, because I wouldn't watch a channel where you're getting constant adverts. It can be really, really irritating. So yeah, listen, is there anything else that you want to kind of add?
No,
Craig?
other than to say thanks to everybody that watches you, Alan, and watches my little channel. It makes it more fun knowing that there are people out there that actually anticipate when your next thing's coming up. It gives you such a big buzz. I'd be doing it anyway, but it's that added little thing that makes me go, I don't want to let anybody down. So it sort of like pushes me on. And to be quite honest, thank you, YouTube, really, for giving me a voice. And to everybody else, I'm trying to be more positive this year. I don't know if anybody's noticed that. I'm going to say this. I'm not going to badmouth something I haven't seen or done. That's what I've done in the past. I will still badmouth and say something is a piece of shit if it's a piece of shit, but before it's even out, nah. I'm going to be more glass half full. When I've watched it, I'll go, now I can say something about it. I don't. It's terrible how as a collection of people we're kicking something before it's even out or before it's even down. You don't do that. In real life, you shouldn't do anyway. So that's all that you're going to get from me is that I'm going to be a big supporter of everybody that's in here, and Alan, like I've always been, and I'm just going to be probably a bit more chipper. That's all, and hopefully that's okay. And thanks for all the support.
Yeah, no, I mean you're right, and I mean I'm the biggest whinger. I mean I spent half the fucking Waffle just whinging and complaining about things, but yeah, I think it is important that, especially when you get to kind of our age, we've not got that long left. It's important that you, it's important that you just stop dwelling on the past, and if somebody's been a cunt to you, tell them to fuck off, end off, move on. They're a cunt. They'll never not be a cunt. That's their problem. But
and don't be afraid to be forceful like that, because to be quite honest, you don't need them in your life.
Mm-hmm.
Your life is better. Your life is better having people around that understand where you're coming from. They don't understand where you're coming from, and jog on. Because I've been like this for 56 years. If I write with my right hand, you can't force me to write with my left hand. It's like weird. I can't do it. I'm sorry. I'm like this now. If I was 12 again, I'd probably have a chance. You know what I mean? But that ain't gonna.
I think the days when you're a kind of teenager, when you're sort of like in your peer group, whatever, you're trying to blend in, you're trying to be accepted, and you probably I don't know, you probably do things that you maybe don't want to do, but you're trying to fit in with people and you try and please people and all that.
Yes, that's it. People pleasing.
I know that there's people that probably don't like me. That's fine. I don't care. I've got lots of people that do like me. If I sound, what film is that? Oh, that's my favourite film. It's Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. I like me.
Yeah.
As long as you're not being a cunt to people, I never intentionally try and be a bastard to anybody.
Del Griffith had some great lines in that, but yeah, go on.
the bottom line is, like I said, you're never going to make everybody happy all of the time.
No.
And if somebody's got, there's been a few people in my life where you constantly pander to and you try and involve them and all that, and then you just it's just like radio silence. You're like, what am I even bothering about? Why am I even bothering that person? Fuck them. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, folks, on that bombshell, Craig and I are going to get going. Yeah, listen, sorry for the delay in the waffle. It was all Craig's fault. I'm going to be back on Sunday night. Yeah, you can see a bit of pattern. I'm getting back to the live streams because I enjoy it. I do enjoy it. I'll be back on Sunday night, all going well, as long as my computer isn't blowing away, whatever. It does seem to have settled down outside. It doesn't appear to be quite as windy. So have an excellent Friday night. Have a great weekend, and I shall see you at some point in the future. Till next time, folks, as always, thank you very much for watching. As he's moving the mouse in the PC and it's a fucking Mac. Anyway, bye, folks. Okay, now.